and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting has been noticed in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. This commission acts in review and recommending capacity for designations and removal of historic properties and districts. The commission also reviews proposed National Register of Historic Places nominations. The commission has final decision-making authority on certificates of historic appropriateness. My name is English Hurto, and I'm the chair. To my right is Amy Garrard, Joseph Dukes, and Melanie Millar. To my left is Vice Chair Donna Gardner, Michael German, and Brett Halverson. Also seated to my right is Assistant County Attorney Mark Bell, and seated to my left is Joel Evans, Director of Zoning and Planning.
Yep. I'll introduce my staff. Andrew Millisick-White, Deputy Director, Emily Piggott, Monica Eustace, Tamara Avery is here as well, Chris Cohn. I think he'll be presenting one of the cases today, right, Chris? All right, I don't think you've seen Chris here before, but he'll be doing that. Kyle Foster, our arborist, and Stephanie Ondo. Also in attendance, Carrie Vache and Walt Smalls is here, Deputy County Administrator for General Services. And I also want two people to stand up if you don't mind. And I'm not going to say your last names because you've only been here for 2 weeks. So Shelby and Sarah, could you stand up, please? Shelby, Shelby and Sarah are our summer interns. They've been here for several weeks, and I think next week is their last weeks here. So they've been doing a great job, and Andrew and I had the opportunity to talk to them. They've been talking to all the staff members, and these are two very smart people. Yes, so I just want to give them a shout out. Thank you all. All right, that's it.
Great, thank you. I would like to remind you that in order to get a good recording of the meeting for the minutes, please speak loudly and clearly into your microphones. The next agenda item is the approval of the minutes from the June 18th, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion and a second?
I move to approve the minutes.
Can you please roll
Yes.
call?
Chair Hurto,
Aye.
Commissioner Dukes,
Aye.
Commissioner Halverson,
Aye.
Commissioner German,
Aye.
Vice Chair Gardner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gerard,
Aye.
Commissioner Millar.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. The next agenda item is HIST-05-25-00139, a request for a certificate of historic appropriateness. Monica?
This certificate of historic appropriateness request is for the construction of a single-family detached, oops, I'm sorry, this is the wrong one.
Are you trying to show this one? Okay. There you go.
Sorry.
All right.
This certificate of historic appropriateness request is for the construction of a single-family detached dwelling unit with drive-under parking at TMS 577-0000-146, 1474 Boston Grill Road, a property within the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District. Since the designation,
Do we need a technical assistance?
Yeah, he's coming up.
Yep, okay, good.
Her slides aren't advancing on the screen, but they're advancing on
All right, what happened? That's interesting. Okay, that is correct. Which one are we trying to do?
139. No. Yeah, 139. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Wait a second. Okay. Since the designation of the Hamlin Beach community as a Charleston County Historic District, 2 applications for certificates of historic appropriateness have been received to date. This case is before the Historic Preservation Commission again because at the June 18, 2025 meeting, the vote ended in a tie of 3-3. The case was administratively deferred to the July 16, 2025 meeting in accordance with Section 4.d of the Charleston County Historic Preservation Commission Rules and Procedures. There have been no changes to the application. The Hamlin Beach community was recently adopted by Charleston County as a locally designated historic district on January 14, 2025, covering roughly 293 acres at adoption. Founded on former plantation land, the community was established in 1881 when land was subdivided into 30 10-acre lots sold to prior enslaved individuals. Here is the location of the subject property when looking at the county as a whole. This map shows the property's location within the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District. There have been no approved CHA applications within 500 feet of the subject property. This map shows the subject property's location off Boston Grill Road in the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District. The applicant is proposing to construct a 5,380 square foot, 2-story, single-family detached dwelling unit with drive-under parking on the vacant property at 1474 Boston Grill Road. The total impervious surface coverage for the lot will be 25.15%. The subject property is zoned Special Management S3 and is undeveloped. The future land use designation is Urban Suburban Cultural Community Protection. Surrounding properties to the east, south, and west are zoned S3 and contain single-family dwelling units or are undeveloped. Properties to the north are in the town of Mount Pleasant and contain single-family dwelling units or are undeveloped. The subject parcel is in the shaded X flood zone. Here's an aerial view of the subject property. This is a photo of the subject property off Boston Grill Road. These are photos of the surrounding properties at 1470 and 1480 Boston Grill Road. And this is a photo of the closest contributing resource at 1495 Boston Grill Road. This structure is the oldest home in the community, built in 1935. The home was recently renovated. This map shows the nearby contributing resources of 1495 Boston Grill Road and the cow shelter and pasture with wire and tin fencing. The contributing resource properties are outlined in blue. This is the proposed site plan showing the floor plan on the lot. This is the aerial map with the proposed site plan overlaid for context. These are the proposed front and rear elevations. And these are the proposed left side and right side elevations. Staff response to the first criteria is that this area of the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District along Boston Grill Road contains homes ranging from 958 to almost 5,200 square feet. The proposed home size at 5,380 square feet is just outside the existing range. Although many current homes are single-story bungalows, ranches, and manufactured housing units, the proposed home is a raised two-story, which is in line with the preferences of contemporary homeowners. The style of the proposed home is different than those already existing within the Hamlin Beach community with its double front porches, square columns, and standing seam metal roof. Homes in this flood zone are not required to be elevated, although there are examples of homes on Hamlin Sound where it is required. Drive-under garages are not common in this area, but there are instances on Boston Grill Road and Hamlin Beach Road. Staff response to the second criteria is that the nearest contributing resource to the subject property is the residence at 1495 Boston Grill Road. This home is the oldest home in the community, built in 1935, and is at least 560 feet away. Because the proposed home is situated on a flag lot of almost an acre, more than 450 feet from Boston Grill Road, it will not be visible from the contributing resource. This factor makes it unlikely that the proposed site alterations will affect or lessen the historic integrity of the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District or the nearby contributing resource. Staff response to the third criteria is that no negative impacts to the Hamlin Beach Community Historic District have been identified. Therefore, this criterion has been met. Based on the applicant's responses, we believe that the application meets the approval criteria. Therefore, staff recommends approval with the following condition. All major changes shall be processed pursuant to Section 21-5M, modifications to approve certificates of historic appropriateness of the Historic Preservation Ordinance. For the June 18th, 2025 meeting, as far as public input, no comments in support or opposition were received. One general comment regarding trees and privacy was received. For today's meeting and public input, one comment in support and 3 comments in opposition to the request were received. This meeting was noticed as required. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. We appreciate staff's comprehensive report. Are there any questions for staff from the commission members?
I have a question. In reference to the comment about trees, there was, could you give us a little more detail on that?
It was a property owner in the town of Mount Pleasant to the rear of the subject property, and she just wanted to know if there was going to be trees cleared between her property and this property. And the answer is no, because that's a town of Mount Pleasant property.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, we will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving your comments.
And we had 2 people sign up. First was Myra Snipe Richardson.
Good day. My name is Mara Snipe Richardson. I'm the president of the Hamlin Beach Community Association. My address is 2755 Earl Johnson Lane. Thank you for hearing us. It's a beautiful house. But it does not fit the Hamlin Beach community at that portion of Hamlin. Everything that's on Boston Grill Road that's elevated and Hamlin Beach Road is elevated due to Hurricane Hugo. We had 65 homes destroyed during Hurricane Hugo that was flat to the ground. So those homes are elevated back there because of that reason. They're in a flood zone. Everything beyond Atlanta Drive to Hamlin Beach Road are elevated homes because of the flood zone. Everything that's from Atlanta Drive going back to Highway 17 does not require to be elevated. We do have homes that are elevated in the front of Hamlin on Rifle Range Road, and we do have homes that are elevated, but those homes at the head of Hamlin Road is in the 7 Mile community. 7 Mile is not a historic district, so those homes got in because of that. So we're asking that if there's a change to it, we would appreciate that. We don't want to set a precedent where we have these large elevated homes in the middle of Hamlin. We understand that they do not want to, will not take down the trees, but as we know, life happens. Things happen. If they sell the property in the near future or 10 years from now, the new owners can take down those trees, and it'll be visible to the community. We do not want this precedent set in the middle of the community because we know there's a lot of acreage that's over there that can be developed. We're just asking for you to protect and preserve the quality and integrity of this community. Also, it may not even be your decision because last month, or earlier this month, July 8th, this property was annexed into the town of Mount Pleasant under CC. They received their final reading, so you may need to defer this and find out more information about it. But this property was annexed into the town of Mount Pleasant at their July 8th meeting under CC.
Didn't know that.
Hello, my name is Allison Johnson. I am the wife of Jordan Johnson, and he is going to say something first, and then...
Hello, Jordan Johnson, 1474 Boston Grove Road, the property that you guys are about to make a decision on. At the end of the day, I know that the home itself is a sizable home. I understand that. I understand that it is, different than some of the homes in the Hamlin community, but it is not the only home that is of that size. I don't want to really harp too much on the size of the home as opposed to just stating like why I'm building the home. As you can clearly see, I have a sizable family. We have my wife's grandmother who also lives with us, and probably the next 5 to 8 years, my mother and my father will be living with us. So this isn't just not a developer coming to develop a home and to build it and sell it within a year or two. This is our primary residence. Yes, we do not plan on clearing out all the trees. And yes, it is a flagship. You cannot see it from the road. I think that's one thing I do want you guys to take away. And then also at the end of the day, I am a member of the Mount Pleasant community as well as, all these other historical communities. I grew up in 4 Mile and Snowden area, and the people that I'm building next to, not only are they family friends, I grew up with one of the guys that we are adjacent to his lot, and so, the surrounding neighbors are very supportive of what is going on and what we are trying to accomplish, and so I just want you guys to kind of take that into consideration. I am a member of these historical developments that you guys are voting on. I'm a Sweetgrass basket seller. I've done so much for my community and just trying to be a young African-American couple up and coming, showing other young African-American couples of, how to maneuver in today's world. And I just want you guys to take that in consideration when you make your vote. Again, yes, it is a sizable home, but it is a multi-generational home. We're building a home for our future and for my children's future, and it's the home that we can afford, as opposed to back in the 1930s, they built what they could afford. So these are just small things I would like for you guys to take into consideration. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Was that Jordan Johnson? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, those were the only two speakers that signed up. Sorry, I'm texting the town to figure out this annexation.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
So, okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. The case is now closed to public comment. Before discussion, is there a motion and second from the commission? When making a motion, please cite how each of the specific approval criteria have or have not been met.
I'd like to move to approve. I would just state for the record what I already stated at the last meeting. Although the style of the house or the size might be different from the surrounding areas, the fact that you can't see it from the situation of the site, improvements on the flag lot, I think carries a lot of weight for me personally. The first criteria for that we have to consider under the ordinance in 21-5, paragraph I, sub A, says the proposed site improvements are compatible with the historic, cultural, and/or architectural character of the applicable historic property or historic district based on the NRHP listing or designation by the county council. Certainly, I would say that the comp plan and the portions of it about the cultural resource element, promoting existing settlement patterns, the fact that this gentleman wants to return to the community and start a family, I think is significant for criteria 1. Criteria 2, or B rather, the site improvements do not decrease the historic integrity. I just believe that if you can't see the house from the right-of-way, I think by definition it can't decrease the historic integrity. And then for item C under the ordinance, any negative impacts are mitigated. I mean, to the extent there is a negative impact because the style is a little bit out of keeping, it's certainly mitigated by the location on the lot. So for all these reasons, I think we should approve this request. Again, I understand that people are sensitive to preserving the historic and architectural integrity of the neighborhood, but I don't think we should check our common sense at the door when considering these requests.
Thank you. So can we get a second to the motion? Okay. Is there any discussion from the commission members? Ms. Millar?
I feel the same way I felt last month, that while I respect this family's right to build a home of this, this size, they have multi-generational. I respect that, and I agree that that's an opportunity. In this situation, it doesn't merit the location. I feel like when a community spokesperson comes up that represents the historic area, and she's telling us that this is not something that they want in their community. This is also someone who lives in this community, he's probably grown up in this community. I think we have to listen to that. I think we have to hear that. And again, checking our common sense at the door, don't see that as being relevant here. I think we are here for historic designation. And in my opinion, this home is way too large, regardless of whether there's one other home that's 5,200 square feet. I, again, do not think it's representative of this area. So I totally disagree with the support.
Is there any other discussion?
Just for clarification, and I do understand, my heart goes out to both sides of this issue. And my question would be, is I heard that the home is too big. I don't know what the home size is for a designation S3 and what size that home needs to be on a parcel of land. But if the home is big enough to be supported and elevated and not elevated, is it a real factor because I want to build my house higher? Is that taking away from anything? So I'm kind of on the fence with this. But what I would love to hear from this people in the Hamlin community is what is, I hear bits and pieces. So you're saying to this council that Hamlin feels that there should never be a home in the community greater than 5,000 square feet, or if it's not in the flood zone, it can't be elevated to a certain height. To me, that's crucial in making a decision in support or not support, but it doesn't seem like it's not enough information to honestly say, or you haven't said that this is actually what this historical community wants in terms of house size overall. And if you're saying no homes greater than 5,000 square feet, and that's going to be a part of your area characterization that I think and hope that you're working on, I kind of agree, I can agree with that. However, I do have a problem, but it's kind of sort of after the fact. If the property was bought, and then if the property was bought and the homeowners knew that this was one of the criteria of the area, I would support that 100%. But what's allowed in that area is still up for interpretation, because nothing concrete has been submitted to say what's allowed and what's not allowed. I think that's a crucial piece in aiding us in making a good decision or a decision based on the information provided. And it also let all buyers, all potential buyers in the Hamlin area know that you buy this property in our area, we've got a documentation in our area characterization that says you cannot build a home greater than 5,000 square feet, and or if it's not in the flood zone, it can't be elevated beyond a certain height. And I know we're going back and forth with that, but that's crucial. And then when I look at the young man who's trying to build a house, he just wants to build a house, it's hard for me to say that he can't build that house when I don't have any parameters from the county or nothing definitive that says this house is too big. I didn't hear that. So I'm kind of back on the fence with this. But in any event, this is just a kind of hard decision. I wish both parties would go back. Well, I don't know if they need to go back and discuss that again. This is the house that he wants to build, and I think we just need to make a decision based on the information at hand. But I strongly encourage you. I don't know why it's not been done yet, and I don't think any of the historical African-American community that's been designated has that document completed. And it's a shame, it's shameful that it's taken this long for them to say, we don't want A, B, C, D, E. That should have already been done. Because if you tell, like I said earlier, I don't want to repeat myself, but if you had told the homeowners or those potential buyers that wants to buy land in your community that these things are not allowed, this decision for us would be cut and dry, because you told us exactly what you want. Now, based on what, and this is hard for me, but I think I'm going to vote. I know I'm going to vote based on what the community wants. And I'm going to be hopeful that I'm going to see this in a documentation, so when other potential buyer wants to buy property in that area, they can look at your area characterization and says, hey, you can buy it, but that 4-story home, that home that's going to be over 5,000 square feet is not going to be permitted. And I hate to use this word, but it's going to be similar. It's going to have the same bite as an HOA. Now, HOAs, I'm not even going to get into that, but that document is crucial moving forward so we can make a informed decision. Thank you.
Okay, is there any further discussion on this?
The comment about being annexed,
Thank you.
the comment about being annexed into the town, does that have any impact on this?
We don't have the official documentation
Okay.
of that yet. So if it has been officially annexed, then of course, whatever decision this body makes, it really wouldn't have any bearing.
Right.
But if for some reason that it's not officially annexed, then we will know what the answer is from the HPC. But if it is annexed, they'll be going to the town for permits.
Okay.
And whatever decision you make won't have any bearing on the property in a different jurisdiction. Yep.
Well, and then I did have one more question. The public input, there were some comps that somebody submitted that had sizes of the other homes in the area. And I think there were a few that were over the 5,000 square feet that seems to be the breaking point for people. So, I mean, there have been others in the area approved, they just haven't gone through the commission to approve it. Is that correct?
Well, sure, because Hamlin's only been at this body
January.
since January,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
anything that was permitted prior to January of this year, it would not, whatever the zoning regulations allowed is what got built.
But the community, did they have the opportunity to come out at that time to talk about any plans for a house that big?
And
The
I'm not,
public input during,
no,
okay.
no.
Okay.
There was not a forum for the community to, right.
Chairman
That's the,
Commissioner Millar?
that's the same statement,
Okay.
question I had, is that I'm aware that these larger homes were already in place before the designation was put in January. So I think that's pertinent. And again, I go back to the community spokesperson. I think that the community speaks, and until there is that assessment as far as what they're actually looking for and their community is drawn and finalized, it's up to us to make that decision, about what we think is historically appropriate for that area. And I know we all took that drive, we all took that experience, and it was wonderful to see those homes, but I think everybody should be aware that this is a designated historic area, and that's what they're trying to keep the character for. So I'm missing maybe some of this, and I understand about capitalism and choice, but this is a different situation.
Okay. If there is no further discussion, then it is time for a vote.
Chair Hurtaud, on the motion to approve.
Sorry, I can't hear.
Chair.
Oh, sorry. Aye.
Commissioner Dukes?
Nay.
Commissioner Halverson?
Aye.
Commissioner German?
Aye.
Vice Chair Gardner?
Nay.
Commissioner Gerard? Commissioner Jones?
Nay.
Commissioner Millar? The motion has failed. It's a tie.
It's so that gets deferred.
Deferment?
Yes, yes. Say that again?
This was the question that was posed. How far might we defer the tie votes? It's becoming an exercise right away.
It may not matter if it was annexed.
Right.
I voted, to me, it was going to be anything, but the applicants here and I heard it too, that this property is already in the town of Mount Pleasant. I haven't seen anything officially yet, but that's what I was told when I did some research so I don't know the impact of our vote one way or the other, and if that's true,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's true. If, in fact, the property has been annexed into the town of Mount Pleasant, and that's the case today as this body sits, then any decision or any discussion about this property this body's making has nothing to do, we have no jurisdiction of the property. So I have heard the same thing, that it has been annexed into the town, but I do need to see, for it to be official, I do need to see the official document to make that a fact. That's, Mark, do you have anything to add to that? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay. This is the final decision of the Historic Preservation Commission. If any person with a substantial interest in a decision of the Historic Preservation Commission chooses to appeal this decision, they may do so to the Circuit Court of Charleston County. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 days after today's date. The next agenda item is SBDV-03-24-02743, a subdivision plat application report. Chris?
Alrighty. Good afternoon. Okay, so we have the subdivision application. My name is Chris Cohn, minor subdivision planner. The proposal is to take one existing lot and create two lots for TMS number 614-0900095. So here we have the recommended future land use. We can see that it is urban, suburban, cultural community protection. The current zoning for the parcel is zoned MHS, that is the low-density manufactured home subdivision district, taken from our ZLDR. We have the current zoning showing here with the MHS in the yellow. An aerial view of the parcel. And then the 10-mile historic district and the buffer. We can see that the parcel is inside of that 300-foot buffer in the blue. A FEMA flood zone. And then site photos of Zacoma Drive. This is looking at the property as well as across from it. Zacoma Drive looking left and to the right of the property. Lieben Road, as this has double frontage, so where we have posted the signs on Lieben and Zacoma, so looking at the property as well as directly in front of the property. And then to the left and to the right of Lieben. Now, the restricted covenants was received from property owners stating there were no restrictions on this property or requirement when submitting a subdivision application. We received a list of TMS numbers and addresses in 2020 from the HOA president of Copahy subdivision that cannot be subdivided due to the covenants. This parcel is not included in the list of TMS numbers or addresses and is not bound by the covenants as it is not within the HOA. So, and here we have the plat that was submitted for review, showing the one lot that is creating that additional lot. And pursuant to South Carolina State Law, Section 6-29-340, functions, powers, and duties of local planning commissions, Section B2B, regulations for the subdivision or development of land and appropriate revisions thereof, and to oversee the administration of the regulations that may be adopted as provided in this chapter. And Section C, an official map and appropriate revision on it showing the exact location of existing or proposed public street, highway and utility rights-of-way, and public building sites, together with regulations to control the erection of buildings or other structures or changes in land use within the rights-of-way, building sites, or open spaces within its political jurisdiction or a specified portion of it as set forth in this chapter. Charleston County Historic Preservation Ordinance, Section 21-6, A, subdivision plat application reports. The purpose, in order to encourage the preservation of the historic character of historic properties and historic districts, preliminary and minor subdivision plat applications as defined in the Charleston County Zoning and Land Development Regulations Ordinance for historic properties, districts, and properties located within 300 feet of the historic properties/districts must be evaluated by the commission prior to final determination by the Charleston County Planning Commission. And the commission evaluation for the Charleston County Historic Preservation Ordinance, Section 21-6, point D, commission public hearing and report, what we are doing today. The commission shall evaluate each subdivision plat application subject to Section 21-6 subdivision plat application reports for compliance with the cultural resources element of the comprehensive plan. The commission shall provide a report on the application to the Planning Commission that addresses whether and how the application is or is not consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the cultural resources element of the comprehensive plan. A majority of the HPC members present and voting shall be required. The commission shall not defer a subdivision plat application. Notice, newspapers were posted, community interests, neighbor and parties and interest notice of the commission meeting were provided in accordance with the requirements of Section 21-8 notices of this ordinance. HPC can approve, deny, or defer subdivision applications. And here we have a section from the Charleston County Comprehensive Plan 3.4.3 Cultural Resources Element Goal. And we have the Charleston County Comprehensive Plan 3.4.4 Cultural Resources Element Strategies and Timeframes, and the criteria for whether it is consistent or is not consistent. And again, further criteria. All right, notifications. So 281 notification letters were sent to individuals on the historic preservation and East Cooper area interested parties list, as well as property owners within 300 feet of the subject parcel on June 27th of 2025. Additionally, this request was noticed in the Post and Courier on June 27th of 2025, and signs were posted on June 26th of 2025 on both sides of the lot. Public input, as of July 15th, 2025, the following was received. At the time of this presentation, 5 comments in opposition. Today, that is now 8 comments in opposition. 1 petition in opposition with 69 signatures, 1 general comment, and no comments in support. Commission member report pursuant to Section 21-6.d and E of the Historic Preservation Ordinance. There shall be no motions or votes for approval, denial, or deferral of this application. Staff will call the roll, and each commission member will state if the application is consistent or not consistent with the comprehensive plan. Each member will provide specific reasons to support their decision for the record. The reasons provided will be included with the Planning Commission presentation.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate staff's comprehensive report. Are there any questions for staff from the commission members?
I have a question, Chris, correct?
Correct.
Hi, Chris. You mentioned that the property tax ID number was not included in the HOA initially. Is that because it was already established before the HOA was put in effect? Can you clear that up for us?
If I can remember correctly, so this was an email that was received back in 2020 from the president of the HOA, and so there was always intention to place the portion of Lieben or Zacoma within that covenants, part of that HOA, but only certain TMS numbers were placed within that. So I don't have the full context, but there was always intention to place this parcel in there, but it was never actually placed within it.
Any other questions? Okay, we will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving your comments.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm working away.
That's okay.
Shelley White. Did I say the name right? Oh, I'm sorry. Got the wrong one. I don't think we had anybody. Say that again. Oh, Shelby. I thought, I was like, Shelby. Shelby, get up here and speak. Come on. I was like, wait a minute. I know that name. You're right. He didn't check to speak. All right. Well, Shelby, you can speak if you want to. That's our intern, but no one signed up.
Okay,
to
so
speak.
no one signed up.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
she was the only one. The only one that signed up was our intern. So.
Okay, the report is now closed for public comment. This commission provides a report on the consistency of the application with the comprehensive plan. The report is made from the findings of the commission. The floor is now open to discussion from its commission members. Any discussion, questions? Okay, if there is no Dawn, did you have?
I'm sorry. I just had a question. You indicated that there was no comments in support. What were some of the primary reasons why they opposed this subdivision?
So the overall theme for the comments in opposition were that they felt that Grantham Homes LLC, that the typology and the size of the structures that potentially could be built on the lots did not align with that area or the vision for that area. There were also some considerations about grand trees, some comments about grand trees.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if there is no further discussion, we will now vote on the report.
I have one question.
Oh, sorry.
I'm late. So I was reading the comments. I know there was concern about flood risk due to the clearing of the land. Can you speak to it if it will increase the risk of flooding with the proposed clearing?
I can't necessarily speak to the risk of flooding. I mean, Stormwater, who reviews in part, whenever we do the review process, they would be the ones that would have to speak more to that, and certainly have the opportunity to do so.
Okay. So if, when your name is called, please state whether the subdivision application is consistent or not consistent, and with which cultural resource strategy.
Chair Hurto.
I believe that it is consistent with cultural resource strategy CR1 and CR3.
Commissioner Dukes.
I propose it's not consistent with CR3.
Commissioner Halverson.
I think it's not consistent with the cultural resource elements 1, 3, and 9. Specifically, I don't think that the proposed division of the lots into two approximately 1/10 of an acre tracts are in any way consistent with the what is in the community, which I believe this property is in the buffer, but is still within the district because it's in the buffer.
Commissioner German.
I opposed CR 1 and 3, again, subdividing that lot, I think would definitely have an impact on the character of the 10-mile community.
So you think it's inconsistent?
Inconsistent.
Vice Chair Gardner.
I think it's inconsistent based on CR 1, 3, 7, and 9.
Commissioner Gerard.
It's inconsistent with CR1 and CR3.
Commissioner Jones?
I believe it's inconsistent with CR1, CR3, CR9.
And Commissioner Millar?
Inconsistent, again, the whole subdividing is not something I would agree with. And also with the community, I can support against as well, we're voting that. And I would also agree with CR1, 3, and 9.
The body finds it inconsistent, citing CR 1, 3, 7, and 9.
Thank you. The Planning Commission will hear this subdivision plat application at their August 11, 2025 meeting at 2 p.m. in council chambers. The next agenda item is HIST-05-25-00142, a request for a certificate of historic appropriateness. Monica?
This certificate of historic appropriateness request is for the construction of a single-family detached dwelling unit with attached garage at TMS 614-0000-272, 969 Bellas Lane, a property within the 10 Mile Community Historic District. Since the designation of the 10 Mile community as a Charleston County Historic District, 32 applications for certificates of historic appropriateness have been received to date. The 10 Mile community was recognized in the 2016 Charleston County Cultural Resources Survey update as a remnant freedmen community having significant social, organization, and settlement patterns. Here is the location of the subject property when looking at the county as a whole. This map shows the property's location within the 10 Mile Community Historic District. This map shows the subject property's location off Bellas Lane in the 10 Mile Community Historic District. This map shows the location of approved certificates of historic appropriateness within 500 feet of the subject parcel, which have been outlined in blue. Approved certificates of historic appropriateness within 500 feet of the subject property include 942 Beehive Road, HIST 09-23-00100, approved on January 17, 2024, a 1,500 square foot single-family home. This is the approved site plan for 942 Beehive Road, showing the single-family detached dwelling unit on the lot. Also, 973 Bellas Lane, HIST 10-24-00117, approved on November 20th, 2024, a 2,555 square foot single-family home. And this is the approved site plan for 973 Bellas Lane, showing the single-family detached dwelling unit on the lot. And 965 Beehive Road, HIST 05-25-00138, approved June 18, 2025, for installation of an in-ground swimming pool behind the existing home. The applicant is proposing to construct a 3,145 square foot, two-story, single-family detached dwelling unit with attached garage on the vacant property at 969 Bellas Lane. The total impervious surface coverage for the lot will be 23%. The subject property is zoned Special Management S3 and is undeveloped. The future land use designation is Urban Suburban Cultural Community Protection. Surrounding properties to the north, east, west, and south are also zoned S3 and contain either single-family dwelling units or are undeveloped. The subject property is in the AE11 flood zone. Here is an aerial view of the subject property. This is a photo of the subject property off Bellas Lane. These are photos of the surrounding properties at 965 and 973 Bellas Lane. And these are photos of the neighboring properties at 953 and 977 Bellas Lane. Here's the proposed site plan showing the floor plan on the lot, and an aerial map with the proposed site plan overlaid for context. These are the proposed front and rear elevations and the proposed left side and right side elevations. Staff response to the first criteria is that the applicant is seeking permission to build a two-story detached single-family dwelling unit. The house has features not usually seen in the area, including a steeply pitched front gable and a salt box style roof. In this area of the district, homes range in size from 1,074 to more than 3,900 square feet. At 3,145 square feet, the proposed home is consistent with recent developments. Although stylistically different, the suggested site enhancements blend in and are compatible with the community's existing arrangement and varying architectural styles. Staff response to the second criteria is that this application will be evaluated in accordance with Section 21-5.H.3 Commission consideration, as the 10 Mile Community Historic District does not have any recognized contributing resources. The proposed residence appears to have no effect on any of the community's notable features as stated in the County Council classification. Due to the size and shape of the lot, it does appear that the massing and design of the home differ from that of the existing development in this area, but are similar to some recently approved certificates of historic appropriateness. Staff response to the third criteria is that no negative impacts to the 10 Mile Community Historic District have been identified. Therefore, this criterion has been met. Based on the applicant's responses, we believe that the application meets the approval criteria. Therefore, staff recommends approval with the following condition. All major changes shall be processed pursuant to Section 21-5.M, modifications to approved certificates of historic appropriateness of the Historic Preservation Ordinance. 4 comments in opposition were received. 1 petition in opposition with 69 signatures was received. No comments in support of the request were received. This meeting was noticed as required.
Thank you. We appreciate staff's comprehensive report. Are there any questions for staff from the commission members? Donna.
Yes, hi. I have a question. The neighboring properties that are nearby with the structures on them, were those structures that were approved by this commission at all?
The structures that are to the left and the right of this lot, the 973 Bellas Lane was approved by the HPC for a CHA. 965 Bellas Lane was not. That was prior to.
Okay. And are the lots, because it looks like just from one of the pictures you showed us earlier, one of those lots is a little bit bigger than the applicant's lot? Is that the one that was approved, was that a little bit bigger, or was that?
The one that y'all approved?
Yes, the 973.
The 973 is the same size.
Same size.
It should be here to the left.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
I have a question. This was here before us at the last meeting, correct?
No, this was another structure on Bellas Lane proposed.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Monica, can you tell us about the general theme of the opposition? Is there any specifics, or just, I know you gave us numbers, but is there any specific mention? Is there a consensus?
The general consensus is that because of the nature of the lot that's long and narrow, doesn't lend itself to structure that is deeper than it is wide. And that is not consistent, or they don't feel that it's consistent with existing structures.
So nothing specific about the pitch of the roof, nothing's consistent?
No, there were comments about the architecture itself.
Thank you.
Oh, Donna, sorry.
I just had a follow-up question. So if their concern was with regard to the lot, and the lot that neighbors it, the one that we approved, was that structure smaller than the one that this applicant is proposing?
The one that was approved, that is adjacent to it, was a 2,555 square foot single-family home,
So it is smaller. Okay,
and this one is a 3,145 square foot.
okay, thank you.
Okay. If there are no other questions, then we will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving your comments.
2 people signed up. We always start with the applicant if the applicant signed up. So Bill Brodsky.
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, I have worked extensively because this was a subdivision previously approved back in 1995. So my constraints are within the lots. I can't change the configuration of the lots because it's on a filed map. So we're trying to work with the staff to make sure that each one of these houses are differing and trying to keep within the cultural, historic approval. I spoke to a bunch of people within the 10-mile community stating that the older houses, a lot of them back in the day had steep pitch roofs, 10 on 12, 12 on 12. That's one of the reasons I like this particular layout. It has a nice steep pitched roof in the front. It differs from the house that's adjacent to it, even both of them, left and right. So I brought a print that shows the coloring of the house. The house is supposed to be gray. Unfortunately, my print turned out blue. All right. So I also sent to Monica, which we could always look at in the future when I bring in the other houses. This particular house will be gray. The one I'm building right adjacent to it is 973 is like an off-white. And then the one that I'll be proposing in August will be a beige color house. So not only are we trying to keep the architecture different, we're also trying to keep the colors different, the siding different. I'm trying to make something in the 10-mile community that gives it distinction, all right? Not just some of the houses that I see being built there now that are kind of bland. These houses, a steeper roof cost me a whole lot more to build than a less steep roof. So I'm trying to do something that's different. And as I said, I work with the staff on this a lot.
Thank you. Any questions for the builder?
Yes, thank you so much for your comments and for working with the community. I just had one question. Since, just from the information that I received, it sounds like the lot where you are building that I believe was approved by us, that the lots are the same, but for the home that you're currently building on, you were able to make it a smaller size. Is that possible to consider with the?
Not right now, no.
And why isn't that?
Because I thought that the house fit well within the lot. I still have a lot depth, even though after this house, of about 100 feet. I still have a backyard of 100 feet. It's not like the house is overly building and overtaking the lot. I still have a huge amount of area in the backyard, and that was my biggest concern, that somebody could come in here. First of all, I love Bella Lane, because Bella is a private, quiet, southern street, all right? So I wanted to, if I felt like I was pushing too much and pushing the limit, then I wouldn't have done it. But I'm not pushing the limit, and it's not a whole lot bigger. It's only 600 square foot larger. So I'm still trying to keep within the limit, and as I said, I've worked extensively with the staff to try to make sure that these houses were within everything I needed to do.
Sure. I was just thinking of if some of the comments, the opposition had to do with the size of the house on the lot, and that was able to,
I'm not sure that there was a lot of the size. I think it was more of the lot itself. I think the biggest issue for them on the overall area is this the narrowness of these lots. And there's nothing I can do. This is the subdivision that was approved with the road. Bella Lane was approved as a right-of-way back in 1995. So there's really not much I can do. And I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to work with everybody. I've spent hours trying to figure this all out with the staff to try to make it work where it looks good when I'm done. Good planning is good selling. And I'm a builder.
I've got a question too, excuse me. I got a follow-up question to you. You know, you were here at the last commission. You said you were going to speak with the people in the community. I only heard that you addressed your concerns with the staff. Certainly with the amount of opposition that you are having from the people who live in that area. And my question to you is, have you spoke with the people with all this opposition in terms of what you're trying to
yes,
do?
the answer to you is yes. I've been to the 10-mile community meetings. I've been to a lot of the 10-mile community meetings, all right? I'm not sure if, no matter what I do on that property, I'm not sure if they're going to be satisfied because of the narrowness of the lot. That's all. I can't change the map. They're more upset with the map than they are with the house, all right? So I can't change the subdivision. And I'm trying. I've worked with everybody that I can try to work with. I've been, at least, in most of the county has seen me at those meetings, all right? I've tried to work with everybody.
A question. I appreciate your coming back in front to, I know you are working hard to try to make this work. And I know that it is a little larger, but I think we can kind of wrap our head around that, because it's like 500 and some change square feet, different from the last one we approved. I think it goes back again to the style, architectural style, the roof. You said there's some other roofs in the community with that A roof. Can you show us some pictures?
I don't have them with me. I didn't prepare for that.
That's where I don't remember seeing anything remotely like this in the community, especially that salt box. But, you know, I don't have the issue of the square footage. I know you're working hard to make this work, and I appreciate your time and you coming back and forth in front of us. But again, it doesn't look like anything that I remotely have seen in that community, and I think that's a concern to me, is the roof line. But I do appreciate your time. I know you worked yourself.
It's not easy to get 4 houses looking different, and that's what we're working on.
I'm missing something. Where did the different part come in? Because I don't remember us having a conversation about they had to look different from each other. I mean,
That's what I had with the staff.
So that was a comment that was made at it wasn't this property, but the one on Bella's Lane that Mr. Brodsky brought. And I think there was the comment from the HPC at that time to go back to the drawing board a little bit and try to make them different.
That's different.
Yeah.
Give me that.
That's why I went back to the drawing board.
This is not this property. This is a new application. That's a different property he'll be bringing. Right.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. There was one other, Leonard Brown.
How y'all doing?
Hello.
Yeah, my name is Leonard Brown, and I live in West Ashley. However, I'm a Benyer, and I've been living 10 Mile all my life. At Bella Lane or Bella Mitchell Estate is owned by 171 family members. What we have done is we have taken our family and put it into an LLC, and we have a board, and we have 2 gentlemen that manage for the properties, me and Mr. Brown back there. Now, the issue I have is he said Bella Lane. There used to be a trailer park. Trailers. And their address was Beehive Road. They come off of Beehive Road into the trailer park. Bella Lane was established for one of our brother's sister-in-law back in the days, okay? Now, we we have some vineyards that feel they have entitlement to just make roads. And that's what has happened to Bella Lane. The road, originally, we had put a 30-acre tract on the other side to put 2 trailers over there. But this gentleman decided to help out his sister and put it on this side. Now, the developer comes in, because actually on the tax map it says 50 feet, but he comes and he extended 20 more feet, okay, to make it a 50-feet road, because he said that's what's on the tax map. And across the street from his property, we had a trailer that was pushed down, but what happened was you got to get permits and those type of things to move the trailer. He went there, just push it down. And then made it clear off the properties in front of his house, and almost looked like you're putting a road back there for some other folks. With that in mind, Bella Lane is a private road. It's owned by the state of Bella Metro. That was proven in a lawsuit to one of the entitlement had, whatever, that this is a private road. You cannot go there and just clear the road off. Now he want to put bricks down the road. We said no to that. You didn't ask for no permission. I came to him and asked him why he pushed down our trailer. And he got whatever, but he did not have permission to do that. Now he had permission to improve Bella Lane without getting it from the owners.
Sir, I hate to tell you, but your time has expired. We really appreciate your comments.
Yeah, our family disapproved the improvement to Bella Lane. I don't have anything to do with his house.
Thank you.
That was it.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So this case is now closed to public comment. Before discussion, is there a motion and second from the commission? When making a motion, please cite how each of the specific approval criteria have or have not been met. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to disapprove based on criteria 1, 2, and 3. I feel that all of those areas would be affected if we move forward with this house size on the proposed lot.
Can I get a second?
Second.
No. Okay. A second? Okay. All right, is there any discussion from commission members?
I feel like the square footage is really not an issue. I mean, here we are talking about a situation that's less than, I mean, it's 3,000, but it's definitely not 5,000 plus. And it's irrelevant to the 2,555 or, 2,555 square footage home that's, if I'm not mistaken, is close by. I think it's the architectural, the roof lines, the salt box, again, we're trying to protect the cultural integrity, historic integrity of these properties, and I don't see this being something that fits. And maybe I missed the conversation where we said that they needed to be all different. I don't think that's relevant in this situation. I don't think they need to be that different just because they're close together. I think it's the part of the size, and we've already kind of, I think, worked with that a little bit. But again, that pitch roof, unless I see some other pictures of other homes with those roofs, I just think that's really out of place. Again, just my opinion.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, then it's time for the vote.
On the motion to disapprove, Chair Hurtel,
Aye.
Commissioner Dukes,
Nay.
Commissioner Halverson, Commissioner German.
Wait a minute.
This
was to disapprove.
Oh, well, aye.
Yeah, that's what you wanted.
Vice Chair Gardner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gerard,
would you please say what?
yeah,
The
Can
what are we-
motion, the motion is for disapproval, and
Okay.
when Mr. German made the motion, it was for all three criteria.
Okay, okay. Aye, please.
Commissioner Jones?
Nay.
Commissioner Millar?
We're voting for disapproval, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I think Mr. Dukes also has a point that he'd like to make, but I'll just say that I disapprove. I mean, aye.
So the motion passed to disapprove.
You want to be on the record?
Yeah, I want to get on the record. I mean, I should have said aye instead of nay.
Do you want it, I think.
I wanted
with
to
the permission
disapprove.
of the commission, you can ask for your,
With the permission of the commission, I would like to change my vote to aye for disapproving the structure.
Thank you. This is the final decision of the Historic Preservation Commission. If any person with a substantial interest in a decision of the Historic Preservation Commission chooses to appeal this decision, they may do so to the Circuit Court of Charleston County. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 calendar days after today's date. As a reminder, the conceptual plan workshop will begin immediately following the conclusion of today's Historic Preservation Commission. If there is no further business, the meeting of the Charleston County Historic Preservation Commission stands adjourned. The commission will hold its next regularly scheduled meeting on August 20th, 2025 in council chambers. Thank you.
We have a workshop.
We're adjourning the regular
Yeah.
meeting. The workshop, since there's no voting at the workshop, we close the meeting, and then this is just an opportunity for the applicant to present and get a little bit of feedback from the commission possibly, and from folks that are in the, that I'm expect are gonna be here in the community to talk. Oh, I don't have my mic on. There you go. All right. So, yeah. Yeah, the meeting is adjourned officially for voting, but we are still here for the workshop, so don't leave yet. Yes.
Since we've adjourned.
Yeah.
Going back to this tie situation where we keep deferring because we don't have an odd number in order to make a ruling. How many times are we gonna, is there not a number where it becomes an automatic, verdict based on that tie? Are we gonna continually, if we don't have an odd number, are we gonna just keep deferring and deferring and deferring?
And as of right now, I don't believe the rules state that there are any set number. And I believe the commission discussed, Emily, what was the term? Convenient or?
Within reason,
Yes,
and up to
within
the
reason.
discretion of the planning director was where we left it. However, I thank you for bringing that up because it just highlights how important attendance is. We were hoping to have a full commission today to be able to solve that.
Could a person offer like a proxy for their vote if they can't attend? No.
I'll let Mark fill that.
And then at the moment, then that is not currently allowed. Then that would be something we would have to discuss with both the county attorney and county council. So that is something that's in our power at the moment.
Is there any way we can, as a board, come up with or including zoning, to come up with that number? How many times it's considered to be, appropriate, extreme, whatever it is, there should be a finality at some point.
Yeah, we can definitely, if the number comes up amongst the commission, we can propose an amendment to the rules and procedure presented to you all.
I would say twice.
I agree. I think now we've done twice,
Yeah.
and I believe 3 times is way enough. I should be considered, 3,
Yeah.
if everyone's in agreement to that.
Agreed.
So will that be our 3rd time? If we were in agreement this next time, hopefully we'll have a full commission, a full board?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll put that as an agenda item for discussion, and then if we can, since we're not in a forum right now to vote, the meeting's officially closed for voting. We'll put this as an agenda item for discussion. We can vote on it, and we'll vote on possibly amending the rules of procedure.
Next meeting, possibly?
Next meeting, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Is that, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, it can be, but I think they have to discuss it maybe at the meeting
Yes.
and then vote the following
Oh,
meeting.
that's fine.
Okay.
Yes. I just want to set up a forum to discuss it as an agenda item.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the July 16th, 2025 Charleston County Historic Preservation Commission Workshop. This workshop has been noticed in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. The first item on the agenda is a conceptual plan workshop. The applicant is proposing the construction of a new 14,000 square foot multi-tenant flex space building on the currently undeveloped properties TMS numbers 285-00-00-070 and 285-00-00-207, located at 3735 Old Charleston Road. This project will include the new building, parking lot, stormwater detention system, and utilities to serve the site. This property is within 300 feet of the Bethel AME Church, a Charleston County designated historic property. Mr. Jake Berenti to present, please. Thank you. I messed up your name. Sorry.
Hi.
Thank you.
I'm Jake Barini. I'm the applicant. As you said, we're proposing a 14,000 square foot building. We are also going to have to do a lot line combination. Obviously, this is on two different parcels. I think we'll also have to come to before the HPC for that. I do have some questions as to the sequencing of the lot combination and site plan review. We've been working with staff to kind of work through when we actually need to come before HPC. But before we submitted to the site plan, we wanted to kind of get some feedback from the HPC. This property is a little unique in that it's an industrial property located on Old Charleston Road. There are 5 other properties that are somewhat consistent with what we're proposing, metal building, industrial type use. The one proposed tenant that we plan to put in this building is Complete Crawl Space. They're a contractor type company that encapsulates crawl spaces. So they would come to this location, load their vehicles, and then go to residents' homes and do crawl space encapsulation. I know that there's been some opposition, and most of that focus has been for development in general. Again, this is an industrial property. It's zoned industrial. This is an approved use in Charleston County, and we would go through all the steps for the requirements for getting that approved for both planning and engineering.
For
Yes,
the
ma'am.
applicant, can you say there are 5 other businesses located on that same road? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what those businesses are?
I can tell you what their addresses are. I know that one of those is Tridus, but those addresses are 3630, 3674, 3690, 3724, and 3808.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a cement company of some sort, isn't there?
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am,
there's
that is
remnants of
not-
that all over the place.
That is not included in those addresses.
Okay.
So those addresses that were listed are buildings that would be consistent with what we're proposing. Metal skin building, something that would be like what you're actually looking at here.
Itself, is that an active church?
Yes, ma'am.
Is
Yes.
has parishioners and?
We are coming before the HPC because we're within 300 feet, which is the buffer for the historical property. We are not, I believe we're not located within a historic district, and this property is not a historic property. So it's a little unique in that we're within proximity to, but we're not historic ourselves.
Monica, did we create a map that shows, oh, there you go. See, you think it and it happens.
So there are, I believe there's the Parker's Kitchen, which is behind the church. So that is the only kind of property that was developed within this area. And I believe that was before the HPC was created.
That's correct. And this is the Parkers right here. Here is this historic church, and these are the parcels we're talking about today.
Okay.
And the building is not within the buffer, the historic buffer. So just overlaps with the property lines. So
Are there any other questions from any of the commissioners?
As a staff, I just wanted to comment. I know you're talking about using metal skin building, and there are architectural standards and
Yes,
site
sir.
plan review that limits the amount of metal that faces a right-of-way.
Correct.
Yeah, so you're
Yes, sir.
aware of that.
And,
yeah.
and like I said, we would go before planning
Right.
with our site plan review.
Right.
We would also go to Public Works for their review for stormwater.
Right.
And none of those have taken place yet.
Right.
We wanted to come before the HPC, get some feedback so that we can move forward with the project.
Yeah. So the architecture that's being, I know that he has to start somewhere, and he started with the workshop, but the architecture that's shown on those buildings may or may not necessarily meet to the letter some of the site plan review architecture that's required. Just wanted to let you know that, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak regarding this proposed plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
There were quite a handful of people that signed up.
Okay.
Von Loeffler? Gary Burney, did he want to speak, Gary?
I do.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Mr. Loeffler. We usually let the applicant speak, and he's part of the applicant, so we'll get to you, then we'll be done with the applicants, yes. Yep.
I'm Gary Barini. I live at 130 Collins Hill Lane, Charleston, South Carolina. President, owner of Hoyt and Barini, an civil engineering company. The question I have is the historic buffer encroaches, if that's the right word, into the front quadrant of the property. I mean, a sliver of a corner of the property. The remainder of the property that's being developed, that corner's not even being developed because there's a large oak tree there. I'm not sure of the impact of that buffering on the remainder of the property.
I'd be happy to clarify that for you. The way our historic preservation ordinance is currently written is that if the 300-foot buffer touches any portion of the lot, the entire lot, is deemed as within the buffer and comes in front of the Historic Preservation Commission as such.
But the specifics of what you stated, Mr. Barini, that is your argument or your discussion point when it does get officially presented to the HPC. I'm going to assume you're going to drive home the fact that of what you just said, that the building itself is not in the actual buffer, but the whole property does have to go to the HPC.
Yes,
Yes.
I do understand. If this were a 100,000 acre piece of property, industrial, and the buffering touched a portion of the property, the entire property would then be under the purview of the board.
Yep, yeah, the whole thing would be the purview of the board, but I would think that the board and the applicant would make that point, and the board would take that into consideration, that really what's being developed here, the majority of it is outside of this buffer, and then the board can make their decision from there.
The other points, and I'm not limited to 2 minutes, I assume. The other points I'd make is this property is industrial. There are several industrial properties in this area. They're consistent with county zoning and the land use ordinances. I'd also indicate that should other owners in this property have deemed that this is not what they wanted in their neighborhood or around their area, that the zoning and changing the zoning would have been the appropriate avenue in my opinion, and not so much trying to indicate that it has historical significance, because the property is a vacant piece of property. It's been a vacant piece of property. It has no historical significance other than it's near a church in that neighborhood.
The staff and the Historic Preservation Commission is quite aware of the issues of zoning and land use versus the Historic Preservation Ordinance. They're aware of that from staff. making that distinction over the years.
And I go back to the board member that indicated, and I apologize, I don't know your name, indicated that I, as a buyer, come into a community and I purchase a piece of property from, at some point, someone who lived in that neighborhood, who then has that property rezoned to industrial. And the reasoning for that is the highest value you can obtain is industrial zoning. And then he sells that property, and then he moves away and goes somewhere else. And someone else now has that right on that property to develop that property in such a way he can put an industrial factory if he wanted to. And then we come back and say, it has historical significance. That's my only point that I'd like to make.
Mr. Brainy, let me see. I might have just some ideas to help you kind of think this through. How much of the buffering actually physically encroaches on your parcel? Do you know?
I don't have the exact measurement, but I will have that.
Yeah,
It's square feet.
Yeah.
Like a couple hundred square feet.
Yeah, and that's where you said where there's this existing oak tree that's going to stay.
Correct.
Right. I think some things to think about would be line of sight from the church to the property, and potentially any landscaping features that you maybe could put into the plan that potentially would help augment that existing tree there. That probably is something I think would be a significant thing to consider.
Absolutely agree.
And I got one more question. Yeah, I appreciate you hearing what I said earlier. That's good. But again, this property is in a historical district because of the church. It's within that circle. And I think the questions might have been answered because my concern would be how much of that property is in the circle and what's your intentions or can be utilized, or you're willing to say and put it in some type of content where this would never be developed or used because it's in that circle, because it's a part of that historical district.
So, Mr. Chairman, this is not in a historical district. This is only within a historical buffer. And those are different as far as the HBC is concerned.
I'm going to go back. Yeah, the buffer. It's in a buffer. The buffer. I think the point I was trying to make is that church makes it historical, and you're within 300 feet of that buffer. Am I right?
Of the
Yes.
church.
Of the church.
Yes, sir.
So it does kind of encroach. Your property does encroach within that buffer, and because it's in that buffer, the entire tract is flagged. That's why we're here. And my question again is, I don't know how much of that, because I'm just looking at a circle, but what's to prevent you or somebody else to want to develop that later because it's already there? But more importantly, what is your intention to
It would have to
now?
go back before the HBC.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just the workshop.
Okay.
And so they're getting the information they need. This is a good discussion, but there's no decision that's going to be made. And they need to submit for site plan review, get to a level of comfort in site plan, and then you will see this officially. And I would expect that this buffer is superimposed on whatever site plan that is going to show the exact square footage. They're going to say what the square footage is. I can envision it, actually, the site plan that's been handed out in that buffer, and it's going to clip the driveway and the tree, and the building and the parking will not be, they'll be outside of the buffer. But to the point of Mr. Howerson, the main point of this is there any visual impact from that church to the development? And that's going to be up to the applicant to demonstrate when he officially submits how he's doing that.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
And that circle also is within the setback and buffer area. So again, that would be, we'll address that.
That'll all be demonstrated. This is
correct.
Good conversation. That's fine.
Correct.
Yep.
I think that a point was made, well made with Mr. Halverson with just the line of sight. I think that's what we're interested in, is that line of sight from that buffer. We understand what it's zoned as. It is what it is. You know, that's what it's zoned for. That's why you guys are building there. But I think that as respect for that designation of that church, not the area, that we, you know, and you seem to be on board with that. So I think that pretty much
We can
tells us.
absolutely do that.
Yeah, and that tree's there, right? I mean, the trees are great focal on that. So thank you for coming before us ahead of time.
Okay. We're done with the applicants. All right, Vaughn now. Yep, there you go.
Hello. So Vaughn Loeffler's my name. I'm going to wear probably at least 3 hats today. I'll try to speak quickly to cover my whole 2 minutes as best I can. One is for, I don't know if there are any citizens of Red Top here, but I find myself volunteering to speak for Red Top. That's the community that envelops this church we're talking about here. So the reason I have also have a vested interest in speaking today, I'm developing the property directly north adjacent to their property, and as we've pointed out, is zoned industrial vis-a-vis commercial. One of the reasons why I came, because of these hats I'm wearing, I'm going to jump around a little bit, so I apologize for the weave. But for example, the reason I came today is because when I saw the plan that was mailed to me, I saw these parking places. Now, in zoning, one of the things I learned, and I'm learning all about environment, civil engineering. I mean, I know half the people in this room, at least people you work with. So I'm learning a lot about how to do development properly, respect for the environment, respect for your neighbors, respect for nature, respect for the flow of things like traffic and what have you. Now, I've spent thousands of hours. My wife and I have started a company. We purchased this property 6, 7 years ago. I've been working on it thousands of hours since we bought it. And I'm out there, if not every day, 50% of the time at the property. I'm going to take this chance today just to share some information about the Red Top community and also what that dynamics of that road is right now and how we have to be very careful with the decisions we make. Old Charleston Highway is used as a cut through for thousands of people every day just flying down this road. I mean, you could reduce the county budget by half if you just give tickets for people on that road. There are people that live on the north side of Savannah Highway in this Red Top community that we're talking about that cannot safely get to a place where they can get a pack of cigarettes or a soda or whatever. They have to walk down this road. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going to use any 4-letter words, but it is dangerous. I'm surprised there's not, more deaths on that road. So we have to be careful as developers, you guys are doing, to take care that it's not just about the visual. We are creating a dynamic by what we do on this road. Now, it's an industrial road for one reason, the city water and sewer people, that's a main hub for them underneath that highway there. So they're all the time ripping up that road and whatnot. So there's only so much we can do. I mean, it's zone industrial, so let's do it right. My wife and I, for example, we're leaving as many trees as we can, making it more like a campus, thinking about things like screening, so that it's not unsightly and what have you. So I just want to tell you that we have a community over there that's really on a knife's edge about where it's going to go.
Thank you.
Because of safety and things. Yeah. So good luck, guys, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
Melody Dover.
It's me again. Good evening. My name is Dr. Melody Dover, and I am the president of the Red Top Improvement Association. And we are in opposition to this development. It is zoned industrial, but I am of the opinion it never should have been zoned industrial. We are from a black settlement community. Old Charleston Road, names come exactly from Old Charleston. That was the only route in Charleston to get through Red Top or to get through Charleston until Highway 17 came up. That area was a community, and we still have residents that live on Old Charleston Road, not just Bethel AME Church that is in existence and is vibrant and moving. that 7 other churches flow in and out of it because of how our community character is. And there's another church, St. Mark's AME Church, which is right down the street, another historical church. And next door to these individuals and across the street are people, residents that live there. And right next to them is the Red Top Park, where we have all our activities. This gentleman is so correct about the traffic there, how broken up the road is because of that cement company that you're talking about that wakes me up at least once every 3 to 4 o'clock a.m. every morning because it's zoned as an industrial. And I'm not asking for them to wake me up. It's just that that's when they start their work most of the time. These are the kind of things that we face because of this industrial, zoned as industrial in this area. And actually, I think we need to try to rezone it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Benjamin, are you Benjamin, sir?
Benjamin Edwards.
Yep, that's you.
I am Benjamin H. Edwards. I live at 3720 Old Charleston Highway in Red Top. Born and raised. The development that about to happen, I oppose of it, of course. Born and raised right down the street. My mom and dad house was across. I was fortunate enough and blessed to build right across the street. I live at, just like I said, 3720 Old Charleston. So, like Dr. Dover was saying, the company with the concrete, they up early in the morning and at late at night. And these trucks, they are boisterous, noise, and like she said, they got a spot in the road right across from my house. And the cars and the traffic, they hit this section and you could hear boom, boom. I called, they saying, and they did a patch job on it. But anyway, going back, my concern is traffic. And then I don't know what they're gonna do for parking. And then we are in a flood zone like this last Saturday. The rain just poured and poured. But anyway, we praying and hoping that the developer would be considerate for us and work with us, because this is my first time here. And my one question I was having, they say multi-tenant flex space. What's that consist of when they say flex space? I know what the word flex means. You can go higher, lower, wider. So what that entails, okay? And that's my basic concern at this time.
Thank you, sir. Would you like, Joel can answer your
I can
question.
tell you what that means from a planning and zoning perspective.
Okay.
It's not flex space in the sense of the taller, wider, or higher, or whatever. It is for special trade contractors. There's what he's showing, and we will see what it gets eventually submitted. But there are units in a metal building, and each one will have a separate office and restroom and storage area for special trade contractors. And if you recall, when he first spoke, we know of one for sure and possibly another. So it's flex in the sense of it can be leased out to contractors on a monthly or annually basis. Each one of those spaces.
Oh, each one of the spaces.
Yeah, that's the flexible part.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you for.
Thank
Yes.
you.
That was all the speakers, unless I was going to tease my Shelby
Shelby.
White, unless Shelby wants to speak. Sorry, I had to throw that in at the end there.
Can I ask the applicant a question again? I'm curious, how many spaces is the max? I mean, what are you looking at here as far as rental spaces?
Yes, ma'am. So there's 4 spaces proposed, but depending on what the tenants would be, that may be a single tenant or 2 tenants. So the way flex spaces are divided, we show a space for 4, but it may be taken up by 2 tenants. So they may actually remove those dividing, partitions.
No more than 8 tenants?
4.
I know that, but
Yeah,
when you said
4.
2 could go in each unit.
No. They would remove the division lines.
Right.
So currently there are 4 spaces.
Okay.
And it could be divided up into 2 total spaces.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
Okay,
or
not 2 in
1
each
space.
unit.
So,
All right.
we're proposing it as a flex space because we don't currently know who the tenants are. We know that there is 1 tenant, which is complete crawl space, and up to 4 tenants total.
How about parking spaces?
So that would be compliant with planning.
And we go
haven't-
by the square footage. We call that, I believe, office warehouse. And then we have a formula for the square footage for the parking. Yeah.
Thank you. So 4 max, 2, probably 2.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, if there is no further discussion from commission members, this Historic Preservation Commission workshop stands adjourned. The Historic Preservation Commission will hold a meeting on Wednesday, August 20th, 2025 at 2 p.m. in council chambers. Thank you.